Climate change is one of the critical considerations that one has to take into account. And not just climate change really, but the impact on the environment of your decisions, because we share this environment with everybody. And for us, it's a critical consideration, the environmental impact of our different projects, and we want them to have a positive environmental impact. African financial sovereignty means to me the ability for African capital to be one owned by Africans and to be controlled by Africans in what it does and what it does not do. I think we're in a mixed place. A very significant portion of African capital doesn't belong to Africans. A very big proportion of decisions that relate to where African capital is invested are not made in Africa or in the interests of African. I think there's improvement, but we are not there yet. We still have a way to go in having truly African financial institutions that control African capital and that can get it deployed for the best benefit of Africans generally. There's some progress. You have pockets of domestic capital that has formed, but there's still a lot of substantial foreign capital that is here, and the owners of capital determine what to do with their capital, and a lot of that capital is deployed towards extracting African resources for processing in other parts of the world. It may not necessarily be in our best interest. So I would say we are on the transition, but we are not making a fast enough transition. We can do better. I think Centum can play a critical role and should play a critical role. For one, Centum is a listed investment company in Kenya. It is almost 99% owned by Kenyans, and all the decisions are made in Kenya. And it's also an equity investment vehicle, and equity is very important. And companies like that have a critical role to play in creating new enterprises that can enable our own resources, whether human capital or natural resources, to add value at home, and for us to export goods and services in their highest finished form. So we have a critical role to play in development and in creating investment opportunities for other people and other entities to find it easier to invest on the continent. There are many things we can do to promote the emergence of African shareholders. For one, there's a lot of investor education that is required so that investors understand the opportunities that exist on the continent. The second one is the further development of our capital markets so that domestic investors know they can invest domestically. The third is encouraging our companies to bring products to the capital markets so that then you have a proper market functioning with the products. The fourth is just promoting the transparency in the capital market so that the investors have more confidence in our capital market. So I think there's still a lot more we can do, but also encouraging a savings culture amongst Africans, because you cannot invest if you're not saving. So saving must come before investing. We need to spend less than we earn so that we have a surplus to invest. For me, I'll mention a few sectors that are very strategic. One is sectors that promote our human capital, full employment of human capital on the continent, and enabling our human capital to offer meaningful work here in Africa and overseas. So sectors that boost employment. I think these are very important sectors. So it might be any sector that is using, whether it's business process outsourcing companies as an example, where Africans can sit in Africa and offer services to the rest of the world. Those sectors are important. The second area is sectors that are involved in the transformation of African raw materials, be it minerals or agricultural goods. Again, that is very important because when you do the transformation on the continent, you create more value on the continent for the producers, you create more employment opportunities on the continent, and also you create more capital on the continent, and that promotes sovereignty. I think my vision is where global investors quote our African stock exchanges as some of the leading exchanges, and there's interest in them coming to invest here. And that will happen when we do more transformation of African labor and goods on the African continent. Today, our goods and labor are supporting companies in various parts of the world, and capital goes where the productivity is the highest. I think we need to bring more of it into Africa so that we can be able to attract more capital onto the continent.